Hello. Welcome back to part 14, the penultimate part. Here we go. I have noticed truly how I need to run my schedule in this time. And creating a schedule that may look impressive or busy or productive to other people doesn't work for me. Because generally between the hours of 3:12 on by my oven 3:12, because that's what time is like the absolute latest I can leave to go and get my kids, and I know then I'll just do that oh hi, here we are. 3:09 is when I really need to leave, but from 3:09 to bedtime, depending on what time my partner gets home, I'm on it with my kids. And I've learned the hard way. I've learned how to, or how not to, take a call at 5 o'clock and have my kids hungry and coming in and out. I mean, they're not like starving, but they're used to a dinner at 5 o'clock, and we have a really boring but great routine that works for us in the evenings. And I also know that I need to be around to pick up at various things or do homework or reading. Also, there have been various other things that I'm not going to go into that have really required my attention, my time, my focus, having meetings about things, backing up with emails, like all of that admin stuff. And I think that ultimately what we need to do in this time is to build schedules that work for us, not that are impressive to other people, not that try and fit with what some other successful entrepreneur is doing, but actually work with us. Because when we're working in a zone that feels sustainable for us, we're all going to thrive, I think. Almost like when you go to the gym, you just have to focus on what you're doing, what you're running, what speed you're tracking, what you're lifting. If you suddenly try and do what the person next to you is doing, it's going to be difficult. It's not going to allow you to work in that flow. I want you to think about your schedule here. That question came out. What are you trying to prove? What are you trying to show other people on the outside that may not serve you? And sometimes I think we all need a bit of white space, a bit of thinking time, I don't know, sitting down with a book time, doing last night's dishes, whatever it is time, you staring at the wall time, allow it. You don't have to be booked, back to back. Number 5. To think beyond and receive beyond the basics. This has been a huge lesson for me. And there are lots of other personal things around this. Again, not that I'm going to go into. I got really used to putting everybody before me. And not just putting myself to the bottom of the pile, but leaving myself with crumbs. And I really had to work on that and that belief and why. And when that situation is happening, and sometimes it's happening subconsciously to us, even if we were like a mum, like, no, you're a mum, you should just be grateful for having children. It's like, yeah, I am every day. I smell their faces and I absolutely love and adore and feel so much gratitude every day. And in order to raise them, support them, to people that are outside of my body and myself, I need to have a slice of the pie as well. And this can be found in so many different areas. Maybe you're the person who's doing the most. Maybe you're the person who's helping everybody who doesn't have boundaries. Maybe you're over delivering and undercharging. My goodness me, that comes up all the time. Maybe you are saying yes and you're not respecting your own rest times. When you said that you were going to have that Saturday morning to yourself and you end up working. It shows up in so many different outfits, but usually it's the same habit. It's the sense that you cannot receive beyond the basics. I'll let you know how I get on with that. It's a work in progress. Absolutely. Number 6, boundaries are beautiful. This has been my catchphrase this year. And I think that when you set boundaries, people know what to expect from you. And I heard somebody talking about Uber in this way. The reason why Uber's become so successful is it eliminates that sense of, is this taxi that I've booked going to show up or not? In fact, you can open your map and you can see exactly where it is. It's like, oh, it's coming down my street now. Oh, it stopped at the traffic lights. Oh, okay. And now it's turning and now I can see it. And yes, that is the number plate match. I think that boundaries have been associated with a sense that people are cold, people are distant, people are bound, people, they don't have any love to give. And actually, boundaries are a life skill that we have to learn. Boundaries are a life skill that I want my children to have with those around, especially in terms of their bodies, in terms of what they feel comfortable with. I want them to be able to assert themselves. And so that sense of teaching people how to treat you, it's really, really important. I also know that in terms of boundaries, if we are not firm, there will always be somebody or something that requires our attention. And that means we are constantly in this like fear-based chest, fight or flight, what's happening, what's going on. Whereas if you begin to pepper these boundaries, and you can start really small. You can start by, I don't know, putting a time limit on a social media situation, saying that no longer do you do coaching calls in the evening, which was a boundary I put in place maybe 12 years ago. It was amazing. It was brilliant because it was way too stressful to work in the evening, especially if I had to get both kids to bed and Matt was out and not here. It was too much. The person also who would be hiring me would want the best version of me. So I would actually rather do a 6 a.m. call because that's the kind of brain that I have. I'm an early bird rather than a 6 p.m. call. And those boundaries, they help everybody because sometimes people will say it to you quickly or quietly rather. I didn't even think about that until you did it. I'm going to try that too. I'm going to try that and see what happens. We all need to give ourselves permission that it is okay because many of us have been taught to be compliant, to do the thing, to be kind, to be generous. I'm sure there's been some kind of test or experiment with kids in the playground. The girls are expected to share their chocolate bar with everybody and even get to that point where they only have like the tiniest bit for them. And equally, that same situation, a boy might run off with the whole chocolate bar and people just laugh and go, oh, what's he like? Hey, what's he like? He loves that chocolate bar, you know. There are so many of those things. And this is not about girls or boys. I have a girl and a boy. I am so aware. When my kids were in the buggy, the first thing people would say to my daughter is, oh, she's so beautiful. Or they would say to my son, who would just be sitting there, very relaxed, chilled, observant, oh, he's going to be trouble, you know. It's like, why? Because he's 9 months. What's he doing? So interesting. Have a look at your boundaries. What needs tightening it up? It's almost like giving a piece of machinery a bit of an MOT, have a little look and make the upgrade.